Hi, Julia Watts here. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. So today we're going to make a pretty card, I think. We're using some of the elements from the Tray Chic collection from Sentimentally Yours, and we're also going to use a couple of craft dies from Poole and Creative Expressions. When I've done a video beforehand using this vintage rose die from Sam, I did mention that I thought that it would work very well with the Tray Chic collection. So we're going to give it a go and see what it looks like. So let's clear the decks. So we're going to be using papers, the Tray Chic and Tray Classique, and we'll be using the Tray Chic Essential Sentiments. We'll be using, probably, I haven't made my mind up, the Cascading Leaves. We use the Tray Chic Rose Blooms, and then I've got two dies from Sam, Vintage Rose and the Rustic Honeycomb. Now, I really like this die, but I was going to use the texture dies from Sentimentally Yours, but I couldn't find them until I've just been looking for something and I found them. But I've already got this cut, and it's different to Phil's dies anyway, because he hasn't got a honeycomb. So I think it's nice to see how they all kind of work together. So, like I say, let's clear the decks and see where we're starting from. So I've already gone ahead and I've cut out this beautiful die from Sam, which is the main die, this one. So it cuts into the card, and you'll see that you've got fall away pieces, all these little pieces here. You can use the leaves to embellish if you want to, which I did on the other video, which I'll put a link to when this goes live, and you'll see that video on there as well. So obviously great for paper piecing, but you're going to see through it into the aperture. In the set as well, you get a separate couple of roses, and you get some separate leaves as well. It doesn't come on a magnetic sheet, I just pop them on there. So I've done is I've taken the same die and I've drawn around one of the papers from the Tray Chic paper pack and cut on the so I've drawn on along the inside and I've cut out, so when I glue that in place we can see that beautiful paper through there. But I think I want to add something to this circle. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to do it anyway and see what it looks like. So I think I'm going to add some script. I did want to add the music background, but I can't find that. It's the story of my life. I'll probably find it when I'm looking for something else. That's if I've got it. I'm sure I've got it, but hey ho. Right, so let's just, I'm going to stamp off of the block. So I'm just going to stamp it in my hand, and I find it easier to take it off completely off of the backing. And I think I'm going to stamp with Black Soot Distress Oxide rather than stamping with my VersaFine Clair. So you see we've got fingerprints on there and all sorts of grungy little pieces. So it doesn't really matter how this goes. It's quite big for me to hold, actually, because I've only got little hands. So let's have a practice first on a piece of copy paper, just to see how it's going to look. And I believe that's upside down. We don't want it upside down. That's why it's always good to test first, especially if you want your rose up the right way. That's the right way. So it's quite hard to tell with this script, but you've got the perforations on the left hand side, which just do help you a little bit. So let's see if we can do this. I might regret this. I might think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Especially when I roll it and it makes a bit of a in the wrong place. So we better put something over that to hide that. It's a good start. Okay, everything else I'm happy with except for that. It's always the first one, isn't it? Always the first one. Right, it'll be all right, don't worry, don't panic. These videos are good for you to see what not to do. Right, I told you I'd probably regret it. Right, so this is going to go on here now. Oh, this isn't quite dry yet. Okay. That's going to get stuck on there with my Sentimentally Yours glue. And the card I'm using, it is Sentimentally Yours, but it's the one that's, he doesn't call it, I don't think he calls it vanilla cream. I don't know what he calls it. It's not the alabaster. It's not that one. It's another one. I can't remember the name of it because mine come without labels on, so I'm sorry. But it's more creamy. It's definitely not the white one, because and then this way it's going to go with the papers in the Trade Classique pack. Let's just make sure this is all secured. Tap, 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 tap with the glue. I'm not too worried because I'm going to dab it off anyway, so it doesn't make a mess. Really bugged me that. At least it's where I can hide it. It's going to bug me throughout now. Let's turn it over and put it on this way. Got a bit too much glue on there, but that's fine. And then this is going to go onto the next size, stitched torn with black. And am I going to edge it? Do we want to edge it? I think I might want to edge it. Here I go again, hitting the camera as always. Would be one of my videos without an error. And it's not an error, is it? It's a happy accident. I'm not happy about that though. So let's edge this with some black soot, because these stitch torn dies are fabulous with a bit of edging to them. It just really accentuates that lovely stitch torn edge. So I've chosen to do this as a video rather than a Facebook Live because there's some drying time involved, and we can pause and you're not sat around waiting for me. That's the reason. And if you're not a subscriber, it'd be lovely if you did subscribe. We're trying to get to, both Phil and I are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can do some live streaming on YouTube as well when we do some of the special launches outside of TV. And if you do subscribe, remember to either like or comment on a video, and then YouTube won't think that you're spam and remove you. Oh, I quite like that, except for that up there. I'm like a dog with a bone. Right, okay, so that's that. I'm going to put that underneath there. Tell me where it is if I lose it. So this is the honeycomb die. You can see again, I've cut it out of that creamy colour card. It's got kind of gaps in it, which is wonderful. Really like that. And I'm going to use it as two separate pieces. So rather than tear it, I'm just going to cut into it. Follow the lines a bit. Okay, there's a couple of pieces there for me to use. And I want to use them on this piece here, which is from the Chic pack. And I want to pop down there and there, I think. But before I do that, I want to edge this, and I think I want to edge it with gesso. But because we're dealing with cream rather than white, I'm going to edge it. I'm going to add a little bit of the pale gold Radiant Luster pigment powder to the gesso to actually take off the stark whiteness. That's the theory anyway. So let's get some of the gesso. This is again from Sentimentally Yours. And then just pop some on my craft sheet, which is far too much as per usual. And then we'll add some of the pale gold. I'm tapping it because I store mine upside down. I'm not sure how much we need. So we start with that amount. Don't panic if you think, oh gosh, she's using loads. There's no point keeping it in the pot, is there? You might as well use it. Let's mix that in. It's still very pale. So I think we want some more. Let's give it a mist with water as well, because I don't want it to be really thick. And we'll put some more of the pale yellow in. It has changed colour, but not as much as I want it to. That's better. Don't know if you can see how creamy it is. No, you can't really, but it definitely is creamier than it was. I don't know what that is, I've just mixed in. And I'm going to get some sponge. Oh, I'm going to drop some sponge. And just a piece of kitchen sponge. And pick that up. And then we're going to pop that around the edges. So again, using this similar to how we've just done with the foam, but this is going to take the starkness off the black edge. And I am coming in a little bit just to distress it a little bit. You can use cut and dry foam, but I find using kitchen sponge, obviously these are as cheap as anything, using kitchen sponge is softer. And of course you just cut a sponge, you know, they're those ones that have got the scrubby bit on the end, or the white ones as well, which are cheaper. You just cut them into little pieces and then you just wash them out again and reuse them. So I like that. That's taken off the starkness of that. And then with the other one, I've got another piece. So this is from the obviously from the lighter one, the one that's Très Classique. I think with this one I do want it with the black, so rather than just mix up some gesso, I'm just going to use the black soot again, just to again accentuate that lovely torn edge. So the idea of my layers is that we're going to have that up there and that down there like so, and we're going to add this on here like that, and then our stitched torn ovals with our lovely rose is going to come in there. I was contemplating on whether to add something on here, but with the texture paste, but I think I might leave it as it is. I think I'm happy with it like that, because we can just put some gems in the corner to finish that one off. So I'm just going to tidy up a bit, and then we'll look at doing the flowers. Okay, so I have stuck all my layers together, stacked them up, and I've just put 1mm foam tape between some of the layers. When you stick down the honeycomb, because you're actually putting a layer on top, you only actually need to glue just around the edges there, and the rest is secured by the next layer up. So I'm still very unhappy about that there in the corner, so we'll try and cover that up with some flowers. I'm also very unhappy that this is on the wonk and not straight, but you know, you live and learn, don't you? Next time, and when you make it, just make sure that you're stamped straight. So let's crack on and do some flowers. So I've got here the plain daisies from Sentimentally Yours, and these are called the delicate daisies. So you get 9 dies in the set. I should mention that all the products that we're using are currently available in stock on my website, and you can also get the Sentimentally Yours products from Honeypot Crafts. So let's just do one flower, and then I will do the others off screen, and then we can put them together. Right, so let's take Black Soot Distress Oxide. And we're just gonna, this is your Rose Blooms A6 from the Tray Chic collection. Give it a good old ink up. And I am going for art on the block, so I'm not actually bothered whether it's perfect, because it's flowers. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can use any stamp to do this. We could have used the script stamp as well, whatever you want. And I am, so I can get a really good image, I am going to, and it also dries a bit quicker, I'm going to just mist it with water, and then the ink starts to oxidize, and it's just a wonderful process, really. So just stamp it on some copy paper, and then you don't need to clean up any mess afterwards. Win-win. Here we go. So yeah, that's a little bit of a blur there where the stamp was wet, but that's fine because it's in the middle. It doesn't matter. It's totally transformed them, hasn't it? That's how they did look, and that's how they look now. So while those are drying, I'm going to just stamp all the others, and we'll come back and we'll shape them. Okay, so I've stamped all my flowers, and let's do a bit of shaping. So I'm using this is a moulding mat here, and I do have some actually on my website in the pre-love section. So that's juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and you just from the main menu select the pre-love section, and I think they're 50p on the pre-loved. So they come with various dirty marks on them, but obviously you can still, they're still very usable. It's just that they were, I used to have them in the workshops, and I really don't need a dozen of them. I only need 1, maybe 2, just in case I lose one, because I'm always not able to find things. So I'm just reusing, this is a Dreamweaver ball tool, and I'm just using the fat end. Again, I have these in stock on my website under the tools and accessories. And I'm just pressing down on the back and running the ball tool down, and you end up with like a spider. So turn it over, open the spider out, and then just push down in the middle. And these aren't completely symmetrical, these dies, so don't worry if when you stack them up that they don't line up. They're not supposed to. I've also got a stamen. This is from the Sensational Stamens. And again, I think I have 1 set left in my on my website. There's a new set coming out very soon, and you won't be able to get the original one again. So a little bit of Sentimentally Yours glue in the middle, and then we'll just try and offset them best we can. Flowers aren't completely symmetrical anyway. Give it a good old press down. And when you use wet glue, they tend to keep their shape quite nicely. And again, another bit in the middle, and then we'll add our stamen. And there's 6 different designs in the stamens and 3 sizes of each. And then I'm going to put one of these obsidian faceted gems. They come in 5 and 8mm. You can only get these from Honeypot Crafts though. No retailers sell these. Use my pickup tool just to grab it, and we'll have a bit of glue in the middle though, as it won't stick without glue. What am I like? Need my lunch. Right. pick it up, pop it in. Don't press down with your pickup tool though, because you'll make the wax all flat and you might even break it. So just press it down with your finger. So there's our flowers, and I've got 2 others that I've made there. We need to stamp a sentiment, so we're going to our Tray Chic Essential Sentiments. You can also use the Circle Mandala and Mini Sentiments, but there are some smaller ones that fit this one, because this is the, I think it's the 2nd size of the Stitch Torn Circles. And let's have birthday wishes. And we're going to pop it onto an acrylic circle. Again, a Sentimentally Yours acrylic block. And I'm going to use Nocturne Versifying Clair. You could, of course, use your Black Soot Distress Oxide if you wanted to. We're just going to hover over the surface, give it a press, give that ink a chance to settle in. And lift off. Perfect. And just to keep in with the scheme of things, let's use Black Soot Oxide around the edges, just so it stands out. And you could cut the next size circle out of black card if you wanted to, but I've elected not to. Excuse me. Right, so let's finish this card off. See where we want things. I'm not sure if I mentioned that these are the stitch torn rectangles around the edge. Can't remember what I tell you and what I don't tell you. So let's have, you can absolutely have used the papers instead of stamping if you wanted to. So we're trying to hide that really bad stamping that I did. So we'll have those there, and we'll have the leaves as well, I think. And we need to figure out what to do with that. I think we'll have that there. Right. Let's have leaves, and these are your fern leaves. That, and there, we still want to be able to see them. We'll have one around the top. I think it's Helen. I think she's actually made a rose out of the daisies die. You can make them formed however you want them to. So let's get all the glue on the back of these. Oh, that's my gem coming out. And we'll pop that one, bigger one there, covering up that mess. Don't worry about the glue. The glue will dry clear and matte, so we don't need to worry about that. We'll overlap them slightly. And we'll have this one over here, like so. I think that's good. And then we'll add a bit of foam tape to the sentiment. Let's have it there so we can still see some of that. Scissors. So that's going to go there. We need, let's just secure it with the one. See if I can get that straight-ish. Okay, and then just to finish off, let's have some pearls in the corners, and I think we'll add them into the corners of this layer here. So just a little bit of the glue in the corners, and we'll get 8mm obsidian pearls to add on there. Let's just check I'm in the frame for you. I'm not quite, am I? There we go. using the pickup tool. I don't know what we did without the pickup tools. I used to think, oh, I don't need those, I just use tweezers. But it's so much easier with the pickup tool. No fiddling about. No gems pinging everywhere. That's just the finishing touches. Which make all the difference. Like so. Okay, turn that round for you. So, not too bad. It's quite pretty. Do make sure you're stamping straight. Anyway, so that's a combination of Sam Poole's dies with the honeycomb and the vintage rose, and then a whole bunch of stamps and dies from our lovely Mr. M over at Sentimentally Yours. I hope you've enjoyed that. Do check out my other videos on my channel, and if you're not already a subscriber, would be wonderful if you could do so. And remember, like or comment on a video, else YouTube might think that you are spam. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye.